Ministers, Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to congratulate the Maltese presidency of the EU Council for taking the initiative of holding this Ministerial Stakeholder Conference to discuss the future of EU shipping policy. I regret very much that I cannot join you live in your beautiful capital. Company business has unfortunately kept me in Copenhagen today. We had the pleasure of having an ECSA seminar in Malta last October, so I can well imagine the fantastic hospitality you'll all be enjoying. This conference is well timed. It follows the second edition of the European Shipping Week, which kicked off the European Maritime Year. The current EU strategy for shipping is expiring in 2018. We now need to prepare for the next decade. The Ministerial Declaration that will be adopted tomorrow cast an important foundation for this work, and I would like to thank the Maltese presidency and all member states represented here for having contributed to this achievement. The declaration builds on the midterm review of the current strategy that was in turn initiated with the Athens Declaration, adopted under the Greek presidency of the EU. It is great to see this Mediterranean continuity, which is not surprising, of course, given the leading position this region plays in European and global shipping. The midterm review of the current shipping strategy pays a lot of attention to digitalisation. You're all very familiar with the problem we currently have. We were meant to have a European single window that would greatly reduce the administrative burden for crews and companies. Exactly the opposite happened. We are now worse off than before, having to deal with a range of national and local single windows that all have their own specificities. From a technological point of view, it should be easy to remedy this. We just need the political will to do it. Let's not lose the momentum we have right now by backtracking on the level of ambition. European shipping companies are not just active in Europe. Operating 40% of the world fleet, European ship owners are present all around the globe. Many of our members never call at European ports and focus their activities on cross-trades between other continents. To assess our global competitiveness, we commissioned a study from Monitor Deloitte that benchmarks the current EU shipping policy framework with that of 5 leading and rising shipping centers: Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, Vancouver, and Shanghai. This study, which we presented at European Shipping Week, underlines that the time has come to formulate a new, ambitious, and globally oriented EU maritime policy. The good news is that EU shipping policy, as outlined in the current maritime strategy, provides an excellent foundation. However, increased maritime growth can be achieved with a more globally oriented approach. A globally oriented EU strategy should recognize that shipping activities form the core of the maritime cluster. Previous attempts to develop a European maritime cluster policy did not succeed because the orientation was far too broad. Without shipping, there is no maritime cluster, no ports, no equipment manufacturers, no specialized financial and legal services. A globally oriented EU strategy should build on the strength of the European Union and provide a very clear answer to current political uncertainties. Europe must remain the world's champion of free and fair trade. The European Union has all the right tools to do so. This is clearly an area where we need more Europe, not less. Europe should also be a reliable partner in international debates on sustainability, mindful of the 3 pillars: environment, social aspects, and the economic angle. Climate change is a case in point. As any industrial sector, shipping must meet the climate objectives that were agreed in Paris at the end of 2015. This can only be achieved by the International Maritime Organization, which adopted a clear roadmap in October last year. Regional pressure that ignores the internationally agreed roadmap is bound to deliver the exact opposite. We should therefore all stand united behind the IMO and have our voices heard in London. In conclusion, I want to call upon all policymakers and stakeholders present to work together on an ambitious shipping strategy for the period 2019 to 2028. We are ready to share our ideas in a constructive and open-minded spirit, using the opportunity of this maritime year to the fullest extent possible. I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you a very successful event.